A very good evening to you and welcome to Finding Answers. Tonight is Wednesday. We usually have our special edition, special episodes. We're talking about desire. There's two types of desires we could talk about. The positive ones, a desire for a better life, the desire to achieve your dreams, your goals, to have a beautiful family, a solid marriage, to prosper. But there are those that are hurtful, that are damaging ones, such as the desire for drugs, alcohol, the cravings for... Today it's becoming something very popular where even a sexual addiction, the desire for that, the consume, people are consumed with that kind of desire for pornography, spending money they don't have to shop things, the compulsion for shopping. So is it possible that through faith you can manage that, you can control those desires? And if it is, then how so? Well, before we explain it to you how it is possible, we want to show you this story. Please see how faith helped this young man to take back his life, I would say, to have control over something that was previously controlling him. What worked for him can also work for you. Maybe as you see his story, you can even relate to someone that you know. So see how he overcame, and we'll come back even showing a nice video that explains in more details what we are talking about in tonight's Finding Answers special episode, Desire. Let's go to the video and come back after this.
Before I made the decision to change, my life was a mess, I would say, because I was trying to be fake. I was trying to be someone I wasn't, especially in school with friends, with the older people in my year and stuff. I wanted to be like them. I wanted to be that person that everyone else will look up to say, okay, he's got this, I want that. So that was me. I was addicted to girls. I was addicted to robbing people. I was addicted to lying, swearing, and it got to a stage where I became someone I wasn't. I was fake. It was seen in my actions, and I wanted to change, but I was too deep inside that I couldn't really change. I was labeled, I should say, even my teachers in school. As I made my decision, I said to myself, I didn't want to tell no one that I made a decision to change. I wanted them to see the change inside of me, and it was really clear. Even when I went back to school and stuff, like my teacher, she was like, "Oh, Ahmed, you've changed." And I was happy. I was like, I didn't need to tell you that I've changed because you can see the change inside of me. And now, like, I would say I'm different because I made a decision to change. And just from that decision, from making that decision, everything started to move forward. For me, I'm now a positive person. I can speak in front of cameras now. I can speak in front of people. But before, I wanted to be someone I wasn't. I wanted to be different. I didn't know how to accept myself. But now, I can do anything I want. I'm just myself. I'm just Ahmed.
A desire is a sense of longing or hoping for a person, object, or outcome. A desire can be for something real. For example, a desire to excel in work for a great company, or the desire to get good grades. We dream that our desires will lead to complete satisfaction and fulfillment, and that achieving them will give us lasting happiness in life. We may desire a new job, the latest gadget, or even a person. However, what happens when we get what we desire? Can the sense of achievement after attaining what we want really make us happy? When we get what we desire, we actually seldom achieve a lasting sense of fulfillment. That which is acquired, be it a person or object, often turns out to be not as perfect as we had idealized. We also still have other desires, which now come to the fore and demand our attention. Our desires are a part of who we are and contribute to our sense of identity. Our desires bring us hope and are an indication of who we are and what we want to achieve in life.
Then we come to an interesting issue. Why is it that more often than not, desires that are positive, like the ones I was mentioning before, to have accomplishments in a career, a desire to do better, desire to stay healthy or to be healthier, to build a solid family, they are not followed by the necessary actions to make that desire into a reality. It is just a desire, it's just thinking about it, it's just about planning, but sometimes, often, not really doing anything to really make it happen. But when it comes to the wrong kind of desires, the negative ones, the addictions, desire of revenge, among other things, that ends up, people end up taking action and doing something to, give life to that desire. And of course, the results are tragic many times. That's why there's many people in jail. That's why there's many people dying every day. That's why the news about the crazy things that are happening in our society today. It's an interesting question. Why? For the positive, no action. For the negative, there's action. With us is Lisa this evening. Good evening, Lisa.
Good evening, Pastor.
Your opinion on this question. Interesting thing.
Yes, I think desire is a very interesting thing, but what I also found quite insightful is that a lot of people do classify desire as an emotion, but it is a completely separate thing. It was actually Plato who stated that human behavior flows from three main sources, and that is actually desire, emotion, and knowledge. So desire is associated with action. And it happens when we want something, be that a person or an object. The strange thing is that this desire can be quite weak, that it can be a mild desire for something that, I might want it at some stage. Or it can be actually a strong, raging desire within us that we need to possess something now. However, the paradox actually of this action is that often when we get what we want, we no longer desire that object or person. So in a sense, are we ever actually satisfied? So in one hand, you can say that we need desires in life because it drives us forward. Desire is an action which we need to go forward, and we need to survive in life because of desires. However, as you were referring to earlier about negative desires, yes, it can also hinder us in life. So it's quite an interesting topic I think we have this evening.
Very interesting thing, very interesting consideration, because it's true, people want something so much. When they finally get it, it's like after a while, short while, many times, it loses its enchantment, we could say, its beauty, and it becomes and we move on to the next thing. But why is that? Many times because actually it could be that people really don't know exactly what they're looking for, in the sense of, this is what I want, but then it's not really that, it's something else. It's to a certain point, as you're saying, it can become a positive. It is a positive drive when it leads us to positive actions. Very negative when it leads us to do something, bad, something harmful for ourselves. But I think, Lisa, it's very important for the person to feel that they are in control, right? And not something controlling them. And we know that there are viewers now that they don't have control. It's an issue.
And oftentimes that's when they mix desire with emotion. Once emotion comes into the situation, we are attached to our emotions. We're always seeking out for the next thing. So I think that can become a dangerous concept when, say, if it's with alcohol abuse or drug abuse. Yes, it's a desire to have that vice, but once our emotions are attached, it can cycle into addiction because we feel the need to have it.
Do you agree with the idea? Maybe we could categorize it between two kinds of desires, the rational ones and irrational ones. Emotional ones would be categorized more into the ones that are not really rational. For instance, there's people that are now in real trouble with debts because they simply can't control the impulse, the desire. They see something new, it's a new gadget, it's a new dress, it's a new shoe, it's a new product in the market. Well, I have it in the credit card, I don't have the money, the credit card is almost maxed, or most of them are, but I go there and... So I'm not really acting in a rational way.
You're not essentially thinking, and it's all about, you're looking for happiness externally. Your desires are external. You're looking for happiness outside of you. You're not looking for the desires within you for your betterment. I mean, and you can have those desires within you for your betterment if you want to, say, you know, exercise more, eat better. That's a desire that you can work on within yourself, and that comes from you. However, an emotional attachment can start when you're looking for desires outside of you, such as if you lean on alcohol or drugs. I mean, that's an emotional attachment we're looking for outside of ourselves that we necessarily mightn't be able to control.
Now, taking what we're saying here and bringing it to the spiritual universe, well, we can talk about two things. There is the spirit and there is the flesh. Flesh, when the Bible refers to the flesh, it's actually not talking about your body. Because this, well, physically speaking, is flesh, but the body is just a vehicle. It's like a car. The car obeys the driver. Your body will do the will of the flesh, which is more connected to emotions, or the spirit, which is connected to the mind, reasoning, knowledge, understanding. So when we could say someone is spiritually weak, when emotions or the flesh are in control. The way to change that, the way to take control back would be strengthening your spirit. Strengthening the rational side of you. Actually, faith is something 100% intelligent. 0% emotional. If you see, for instance, in scriptures, before performing certain miracles, like resurrecting the only son of a widow, Jesus had to go to her and tell her, please, stop crying. Sounds even rude. How can you tell a widow who just lost her only son to stop crying? But he needed her to, hold back on the emotions on that moment so he could perform the miracle. In other words, to trust that something was going to happen. And not crying. There was another time when there was another dead girl, actually the daughter of a man called Jairus, and he asked Jesus for help, and Jesus went with him to his house. By the time they got there, there was a commotion going on when everyone is crying, everyone is desperate. And Jesus told them, listen, stop crying, don't cry anymore, she's not dead, she's sleeping. She wasn't sleeping, she was dead, but he was encouraging them with good news. If I was thinking about what he said in that moment, I would start jumping up and down and saying, oh, thank God, if she's only sleeping, go there and wake her up. But no, instead of that, people were so emotional, they got angry at him and they wanted to chase him out of the house. So he had to tell the father, please, you have to ask these people to leave. I cannot perform a miracle with this emotional environment going on. So if you want to see a miracle in your life, I would say to you that at some point you have to take these emotions that are saying to you, oh, but I tried already. Oh, but it's a waste of time. Oh, but it's not going to work. You have to take these emotions caused by these thoughts and you have to push them to the side. You have to be callous to these emotions when you need a miracle. And just go with 100% belief, deciding, okay, this is going to work. This is possible. I can change. I can take back my life. In my mind, I know it's doable. My emotions are not playing along with that, but I'm going 100% with my mind. When you do this, guess what? You are using the power of faith. Well, we have to go to a break now, and after the break, watch another story of success. Then we're going to speak here to Stephan, who used to be a victim of his desires, but he turned the table on being controlled to being a young man who is now in control. And we are going to discover with his story how he was able to do that. Back after this.
All systems are go. We're about to
Do the maths. Changing your life is not as simple as changing your hairstyle, your shirt, or rearranging the furniture in your living room. You're talking about years of deep-rooted habits, behaviours and problems that are not going to change overnight. Many may say, think positively, but the trouble with that is that you can't do or change anything with just thoughts. But add action into the equation and the outcome can be different. Let's do the maths. Positive thinking plus action equals a change. Whatever it is, if the change is significant, if it's worthwhile, then it will have to take time, effort, and homework from you.
Hi everyone, I'm James.
And I am Helena.
Join us here every Saturday at 3 p.m. for Love Talk.
The show that teaches you how to love intelligently.
On my channel, Sky 203.
See you there.
Love Talk on my channel, Sky 203, every Saturday, 3 p.m.
When we want to reach our goals, we research, act, and make sure we know everything there is to know about that topic. We study hard because that is the intelligent thing to do. This is the same for our development as a Christian. The Faith School is designed for those who want a degree in spiritual growth, those who want to separate time to study the Holy Bible and follow God's path for their life. There is no admissions fee and it's suitable for every level of learner. You will learn how to interpret the Word of God for your daily life and become stronger internally. Do you want to find inner peace and spiritual strength? Then this course is for you. The Faith School, every Wednesday at your local UCKG Help Centre. For more information, call 020-7686-6000 or visit our website uckg.org.
all systems are go. We're about to
Welcome back to Finding Answers. Before we show you the testimony we have prepared, we're talking about desire. And I'm here with Pastor Yemi. Good evening, Pastor Yemi.
Good evening, Pastor.
We decided to put up a challenge here, right, with the people. You have the prayer book in your hands. This is the prayer book for finding answers. We want to reach out to you that in this moment you are being controlled by your desire. Be it an addiction, drugs, alcohol, sex, pornography, shopping, spending, some kind of desire, Pastor Yemi, that robs us of our freedom, because when we are controlled by desires, we're not free.
Yeah, and that's what the prayer can do. The prayer that we're going to make for the person now can help the person to become free from whatever it is that's robbing them, that's controlling them, or that's kept them in prison. This prayer that we can make for them now can make a big impact on them.
Absolutely. You know, we have been receiving calls from Cardiff, from Wales, from Ireland. We have received calls even from Asia, because people watch us online. Wherever you are watching us now, 0207-686-6300. Pastor Yemi will be there. He's going to come back in the end to pray with us again here live, to discuss more on the topic of how can faith help you overcome the desire that overcomes you. But right now he's going to be at the lines. And we are reaching out to you. You are desperate in this moment. You don't know what else to do. You tried everything and nothing has worked. Well, you didn't try this yet. Give us a call now. We are live here and we are going to pray with the prayer book. Even after, when we leave here finding answers, Pastor Yemi, we are going to be on the altar.
Exactly.
Crying out, right, for a solution to those who are with us.
The thing is, Pastor Edward, and to you, viewer, you have nothing to lose. They have nothing to lose by making a call, receiving the prayer. We are the ones who are challenging them. Receive the prayer and see what God will do.
Absolutely. So you're going there now,
I'm going
right?
there now.
In the meantime, watch this story. This can happen to you.
When I had the medical condition, epilepsy, I was very limited to doing stuff because there were many things that I wanted to achieve in my life, you know, financial goals and many other goals. But because of this health issue, I was not able to achieve it because that was the main thing that was holding me back. Every so often I would go and see a specialist and I would get a scan and they couldn't find anything. And the doctor said that there was no cure for it, there was nothing they could do about it. So even to build a family, I couldn't even do that. And you know, it really affected me, it affected my confidence and every other areas of my life as well. Since coming to the church, I got advice about how to use my faith. I decided to put it to practice and link it to my health. In order for me to move forward in my life and do the things that I want to do, I have to be healed from this condition. But there were times when I felt it coming back. I started feeling the symptoms coming back and I just didn't accept it. I just kept telling myself, no, I'm not going to fall into it. I'm not going to make myself faint. I started fighting with prayers and fighting with my mind, believing that I was healed. As time went by, I no longer had it and I was free from it. When I went back to see the specialist about the situation, I told them that I was healed from it and I told them that I no longer had it. And they were shocked. They were wondering, you know, how was it possible? And from there, I'm able to pursue the career that I want. I'm able to pursue the life that I want. I'm able to enjoy my life with my family. I've got a daughter and she is in perfect condition. There's nothing wrong with her. And I'm really happy that I could build the family that I want to build. And they're no longer worried about me anymore because of my health condition. And I could say that I'm happy and I'm healed.
You see, another powerful story. It really shows that all things are possible, really possible. There are no limits when we believe. Well, we're going to go to our live guest who is here with us, Stephan. He has a story of success to share. We are going to learn how faith helped him overcome. Let's talk to him.
It's pushing me for the rest of the week, so it's like a boost.
Things were really tight.
Today, the way I see myself is completely different.
Well, Stephan, first of all, welcome to Finding Answers.
Thank you.
You used to be a victim of your desires.
Indeed.
Tell us about it.
Desires literally plagued my life. My thoughts, my ideas, my conversations were directed towards my desires. Mm-hmm. My desire to impress friends, my desires to be different from everyone else, but not in a good way. My desire to sleep with as much females as I can. That was what was plaguing my life for a very long time. And it went on like this for a very long time. And I even remember a situation, Pastor. It went to the extent where it became an addiction. It was something that I couldn't control anymore. An example comes into my head. It just changed me in every single way. My persona, my whole character was brand new character was formed to acquire this desire. Mm-hmm. A new name. I had piercings all over my face. The way I dressed, it literally plagued my life.
A new name.
A new name. A new name.
So explain that.
My new name. People knew me as Romero. Mm-hmm. A new nationality. I had piercings all over my face, and this was the desire actually plaguing my life. Everything that I had to do was directed towards this desire. Mm-hmm. And I remember even an instance sleeping with all these girls because I had the desire to impress, but to sleep with these girls. And I remember the consequences of desires, where something happened with this female, and whatever happened, after she called me and she said, "Oh, I'm pregnant." I said, "Pardon?" This was the first time I've ever been in a situation like this, and it was all because of my desires. But these are the consequences of desires. She called me, and it was laughable. I was a very, very young age. It was very laughable. So I laughed off the phone, and her sister called me. A family member called me on the phone, and they said, "Are you going to be there?" I said, "Pardon? Am I going to be there? What? Are you going to be there for the baby?" And there, it was kicking in. I was thinking, whoa, what is going on at a very young age? What is going on? And a mother called me. What is going on? You're going to be there. There, I realized, no, I don't know what's going on. And I said some evil things. That was in the past. I said some evil things. But those are the consequences of what your desires can take you, lead you.
It's like, you know, Stephan, when you are just going with your desires, it's like you remove the brake pedal from your car.
Exactly.
You know, you have no control. You can't stop. Because it's like you go from one thing to the next and to the next, right? You are having many girls, right? Slept around a lot. That's not really what makes a man a real man.
Not at all.
Because this isn't the hardest thing to do, especially in the society as it is today, right? But a real strong man, a real one, will not impress many. He will impress the same one over and over again. Right? It's a lesson that I learned from faith, which is a much bigger challenge, but a much more rewarding one, right? Because you don't have to, when you're doing that, you don't have to worry about these kinds of things. You knew it could happen, but you were just giving into your emotions, and you were not thinking of the consequences. But you know, you viewer that maybe is now dealing with the consequence of your irresponsible behavior because of the desires. Don't put a label on yourself and say, well, you know, I'm a failure, I'm a loser, I wish I wasn't me. Don't try to go for another name. You don't have to become another person that way. God can help you be another person, still being the same person, with the same name as you are, you know, the same Stephan, but a different one today. So on the outside, your image was the image of the tough guy, popular guy, right?
Yeah.
Popular with the girls, right? Everyone wants to be like Ramiro, right? But inside, who are you?
Inside, I was lost. I was lost and I was empty. And that is one thing that I noticed. I was trying to fill this emptiness with all these things that I was doing. And after I would fulfill these things, okay, the pleasure, the desire, the pleasures from all these things are acquired. After I'll sit back and think, I'm still empty. There's something still missing within me. And it hurt. It hurt. But I needed to feel this desire. The desire didn't just become a desire, but it became an addiction, something that I needed. But the emptiness within me was revealed.
It was. You're going to tell us in the next segment. But just so the viewer can also get a better perspective, every kind of desire, negative desire, that takes control of you, there's a reason for that. There's a cause. There's a spiritual root to this situation. Behind every addiction, there is a spirit. That's why oftentimes we hear of people going to rehabs, which by all means, if that's what, you know, people believe is going to help, they should do it. We're not discouraging people from, you know, looking for help. But what we're saying is that how many times we, you know, see people going, spending months being clean, the day they get out of that rehab center, they fall back into the same desire again. Why? They say it's stronger than me. What is stronger than the person? It's the spirit that is causing that situation. If this spirit is removed, the desires leave because they belong to this negative force. I've seen it time and time again. That's how faith helps you be free from an addiction. Now, for this spirit to be removed, it takes a spirit stronger. It takes a positive force stronger than the negative force. And what is this positive force? It's God. When you come to Him, He's going to be the most effective rehab you could ever find. And the best thing, you know what? He doesn't charge. It's free. and you can, it's a 24/7. You can have access to him anytime, anywhere. 0207-686-6300. If you want to speak to us, if you say, you know, Edward, I'm a captive of my desires. Can I speak to you live? Yes, you may, if you want to. Can I call and put my name in the book of prayer? Pastor Yemi is still at our call center here taking calls. You who need a prayer, you who felt prey to your negative desires, you don't have the strength to turn into actions, the positive ones, give us a call or send us an email to help@findinganswers.tv. I have the tablet here. We can pray for you, right? We will pray for you. Also, like our Facebook page, just search for Finding Answers on Facebook, and our Instagram. You can follow us and be up to date with what's going on in the Finding Answers world. We're going to be back after this.
All systems are go. We're about to
Work it, make it, do it, makes us harder, better, faster, stronger.
My Channel TV, featuring a kaleidoscopic daily dose of programming. Stay with us every day and explore politics, economics, science, technology, lifestyle, culture, sports, and much more. We're here to amuse you, to keep you updated, and to keep you company. We're My Channel, your channel on Sky 203.
Come on, spin me around, now I don't wanna go home. 'Cause when you hold me like this, you know my heart skips a beat. I know I should, but I can't leave it alone. And when you hold me like this, that's when my heart skips a beat. You gotta love this, man.
Once upon a time, there was Alice. She enjoyed a drink, her one simple pleasure. She could stop when she wanted, downing a little more for good measure. At work, concealed bottles and extra strong mints were the game. The warm, happy feeling was fading and giving way to shame. The months and days became a blur of hospital lights. Married to a heavy drinker, her prince was charming, apart from the violence, arguments and fights. On the kitchen floor, she comes to. She hears, "Mum, this is hurting me more than it's hurting you." The alcohol was plentiful, but had dried up all the laughter. She sat alone and pondered, can I really have a happily ever after? Living with an addiction is no fairy tale, but a life with addictions is a story that can be rewritten. Addiction Cleansing Therapy. If you are struggling with any type of addiction, speak to us on our 24-hour helpline. Call 020-7686 6000 or head to addictioncleansingtherapy.org to watch the true stories of regular people like Julie who took action to beat their addictions. Act for change.
All systems are go. We're about to
Hello and welcome back to Finding Answers. In a moment we'll be returning to Stephen's story where he'll be telling us how he managed to turn his life around and conquer his desires. But first, I went to the streets of London to find out people's opinions on this topic.
Definitely depression is probably number one.
They're arguing and they're talking negatively about each other.
What is more valuable than another? And so
you can have as many friends and family as you want. It just depends.
Is a common regret, like, oh, like I should have like asked that person out, or like.
Hi, it's Lisa here again for Finding Answers, where tonight I am talking about desire and why is it important to manage our desires in life. Let's find the answers. And why is it important to manage desires in life?
That's a bit of a hard one actually with that one, isn't it? Yeah. Well, we've all got to have desires, haven't we? We've all got to have, you know, dreams and aspirations and things that you want to do. Life's too short there's certain things that you want to do that you should do them. You know, whatever you know, if there's something that you want that you shouldn't, I mean, not go and rob a bank or whatever, but if it's something that you can do within your power, then, you know, just go out and do it. That's what I say, because life's too short.
Well, it is important because desires are your desires, I think, you know, and they are the ones you have to hold on to in order to make yourself your own being, your own personality, I believe, you know. You have to always keep your desires in mind, but also I think you should try and find out what is the right desires for you or not, you know, what is the right things for you to do, you know. Some people can desire many things, you know, but you have to accurately choose the desires that will make you become a better person in life, I think, you know.
Because we live in a world where you can't have everything that you want, and very often your desires don't necessarily correlate with the best intentions for everybody else. So I think it's best to just rein things in as much as possible.
How can we manage them?
I suppose
if possible.
Be aware of it. Be aware of whether you have a desire for something, and just try and don't act on your base instincts. Just think about it and give yourself a bit of time before you act.
Thinking before acting.
Pretty much, yeah.
We manage our desires. Those are what drive us. The things that we want, the things that we want to do, the things we want to achieve are the things that drive us to get on with the mundane every day, because that's our greater goal. I mean, obviously there has to be a line. You can't just go off and steal someone else's husband, or, you know, so it's kind of just drawing a line and making sure that those desires aren't going to be at the cost of other people's happiness. But those are definitely how we judge our happiness, what desires we have, how we've achieved them, you know, and then those things to look forward to. Those are what like I say, what drive us in everyday life. So
very important, strong and interesting opinions. Thank you, Lisa. Going back now to Stephan and your story. So besides that situation when the lady was saying she got pregnant, yes, right, at a young age, what other troubles do you remember getting into because of being emotional and, you know, just giving into your desires?
That was one of the big ones that actually came. Mm-hmm. One regarding the persona thing that I spoke to you about. Mm-hmm. That, like I said, it literally plagued my life. It twisted my mentality of reality, really.
Did you like what you become, what you had become?
Not necessarily. I looked in the mirror and I sometimes couldn't recognize who I was. And I'm sure family members and friends couldn't recognize, who is this guy? Mm-hmm. So I would go to bed sometimes. Like I said, I would do these things and go to bed thinking, what am I doing? Mm-hmm. So it came to a time I said, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be this person anymore. And I took the steps. I said, you know what? I'm going to take the step into actually changing my life, changing the situation, because I don't want these desires to plague my life anymore.
So how was it that you eventually came to overcome these weaknesses?
These weaknesses, of course. Mm-hmm. As people may know, when desires come to you, it's all an addiction. It's not very easy. You may try, you may find a stagnation in your way, mm-hmm, but you need to keep on going. The way that I was able to overcome the situation was by faith. And faith meaning my belief, my total assurance that I can overcome the situation. Mm-hmm. Doing the physical was to take away all the things that could possibly put me in a situation of me being in a position to desire. So I cut friends, I cut people and all these kind of things, but also I knew it was a spiritual battle. Mm-hmm. It was a battle not just by flesh, but spiritual also. Mm-hmm. There was, in the Christian Help Center, mm-hmm, there was something that was announced, which was the 40-day fast. I said, you know what? I want to partake in this 40-day fast because I believe this is my opportunity to change my life. Mm-hmm. I want to change my life. I no longer want to be plagued by these desires. Mm-hmm. I want to have self-control. So I said, I'm going to put my whole heart into it.
So what do? You spent 40 days without eating?
No. I spent 40 days cut from media and all those kind of things. It was the World Cup as well, and it was very hard, because I'm a football man, but it was very hard. But I said, this is my determination. I want to show to God that I want to change, because I...
Sorry, so it was 40 days.
40 days.
Just for us, for the viewer to get a picture of what you've done. I know what you've done.
Yeah.
We know the story. But for the viewer, 40 days of no entertainment.
No entertainment.
No sports.
Nothing.
No secular thing.
Yes.
Just to do what? What did you do?
It was just me and God. It was me focusing my energy on having a relationship with God, having a presence of God within me, because I noticed there is an emptiness within me, and this emptiness can only be filled by the presence of God.
And it was a time of the Football World Cup.
World Cup, so it was a very big sacrifice.
The kind of thing that you would love to watch.
Exactly.
Did you? Did you watch it?
I didn't watch it, no.
No.
I really wanted to. There was doubts coming into my head, a lot of doubts. But I said, you know what, I'm determined. I want to do it. And wow, after the 40-day fast, I gained strength that I never had before. But not just strength, but the emptiness within me was gone. The emptiness within me was gone. That was all through faith and determination to say to myself, no, enough is enough. But I'm going to take this opportunity and I'm going to change my life. And I received the strength to overcome, and also something much more greater was the Spirit of God was able to enter within my life, and I was able to overcome the situation.
You have the Spirit of God?
Yes.
Are you still controlled by your desires?
Not at all. I have total control over what comes into my thoughts come into your mind, always, but you must cut it off. That is what I do, and I have total self-control and self-determination to overcome myself.
And you know, Stephan, the viewer may say, wow, but this is absurd. You know, to stay away from, it's like, why should I go back to the Middle Ages? No, it's not about that. You know, what is crazy is the life that he was living before.
Exactly.
That's what it was crazy. Crazy is to be someone that you know, you are a human being, you're provided with rational intelligence, however, you submit your life, yourself to an addiction, to a lack of control kind of life. This is what is absurd. So it worked for him. Because sometimes our mind is so polluted with so many things going on, so much negativity, so much stress. It's like we have time for everything but no time for God. It's like we have space in our minds to find out what's going on in the celebrity world, to find out what's going on in a country that will never be there, that has nothing to do with your future, with your life. We know it. There's a space, even a little one in the mind for that. But for God, no space, no communication. Results, we end up becoming weaker than our own desires. Exactly. And you know what? It's a strong thing to say, but it's the truth. If we are controlled by our desires, what's the difference between us and an irrational animal?
Exactly.
We become like irrational. So you decided to do this, you did a sacrifice, you disciplined yourself to do this, and it changed your life.
Yes.
Right? So what are you doing today, Stephan? How about today?
Everything is totally transformed. My vision has transformed. Now I'm able to, my thoughts are clear. Before, my thoughts weren't clear. I have my own business now. I work at a good company, but I want better because I have seen much more greater things that I can do with my faith. So things have progressed since I was able to overcome, but there's much more greater things that I believe I can overcome or achieve through faith.
And it's not been that long, because I believe that the World Cup that you were referring to is the last one.
Exactly.
Which is what, less than, what, about a year ago or so, kind of?
Around, yes.
Yeah, so it's been what, a little bit over a year?
Yes.
So you see, it's something new to him, it's a new concept, but it's working for him. Give yourself a chance. You can benefit from this faith too. Oh, but I don't think I can do 40 days without. Well, that's what was happening, was going on, what's what helped him. He decided to join, you know, what was being presented at the time. and he thought it was a good idea. He jumped on it and he saw results. What matters is that you give yourself a chance to change your life. That you give yourself the chance to have your mind once again deciding, not your flesh, not your emotions. You know, you can take back your life. And if you want help, once again, we have our prayer book here at the Help Center. Pastor Yemi is there. He will come back in a minute to pray with us. But the number to call is 0207-686-6300. It appears on your screen. Whatever the situation may be, if you are watching us right now going through a crisis, you lost control, just like we were saying here, you feel that you're going downhill and you're pressing the brake pedal, trying to stop. Nothing can stop this vehicle. It's like a train wreck going on. Give us a call. You can take back the control. We're going to be praying for you soon. You can also prepare a glass with water. We have hours here, 5 minutes before the hour, actually 10 minutes before the hour, we should be praying for you. So don't go anywhere because we'll be back after this.
All systems are go. We're about to
The pursuit of happiness. What will make you happy? Success? Fame? New shoes? Financial security? Love? Education? Independence? Family? Sometimes in the pursuit of things we think will bring us happiness, sometimes we fail to see that we aren't happy, or we never find it. We live in a world of people. Rather than pursue things to make you happy, what if we all worked to make each other happy? Wouldn't we all be happier?
All systems are go. We're about to
Welcome back to Finding Answers. Well, we're coming to the end very soon. We're going to be praying for you. But before speaking again with Pastor Yemi, by the way, there were people calling in. It's a great thing, you know, to know that we are helping someone. But Pastor Yemi, one of the most beautiful things I find about faith is that, you know, it gives us a lot of power to have control, you know, over things that sometimes people believe in it, even it's impossible to control. You know, we're not captives of our emotions, you know, even though we feel them, we have good ones, bad ones, but they're not in control. You know, we feel in power to do what is right? For instance, when someone is close to God, they understand that the price, the cost, the consequences of adultery are something terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. They'll never do it. And then is laid a foundation to a very solid marriage.
Yeah.
You know, they know that a drug can give a high. Okay, it's a high. But what's going to happen after? We're going to become dependent on that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very liberating, powerful thing when we turn to faith.
Yeah, the good thing is that the closer that we are to God, the more we're able to control those emotional desires that come to each one of us. As the program was going on, I was thinking about a story of Zacchaeus. Mm-hmm. There's a character in the Bible called Zacchaeus. The Bible says that he was the chief tax collector. The Bible says that when Jesus was going past, he had a desire to see who Jesus was. Then he got Jesus' attention. Jesus went to his house, and out of the blue, he just said, you know what, everything I have, I decide from now on, I'm going to sell it and give it to the poor. Mm-hmm. So Jesus said, Zacchaeus, today, because of what you've done, because nobody told you to do that, salvation has come to this house. So you see that
Amazing.
The desire inside of Zacchaeus to change his life was so much, so strong, that in that moment, literally one day, he managed to get the attention of Jesus and for his life to change.
You know, this is something very powerful, because for a guy like Zacchaeus, who was a tax collector,
the worst of the worst,
it's like a very greedy, materialistic man, for him to come and say, listen, I give half of what I have to the poor. From the other half, I'm going to restore 4 times the money I robbed from people. It's because he must have found in Jesus something
better,
way superior, right?
Exactly.
It's this, and this is what we're talking to the viewer, that they can find out.
Yeah.
If they will only, we're not saying that they have to give everything, but we are saying that they have to give God a chance.
Yeah.
Faith doesn't make you better than others, but it makes you better than your old self. It's very good. You don't have, we're not special. I'm not better than anyone, but I'm better than the Edward that I used to be when I didn't know how to use this power of faith. How about you?
100 times better than what I used to be.
And here is Stephan, who agrees with us, and you can also have your story. You can join this group of people who have this faith. We don't have much time for the prayer. The prayer will be short, but I believe that it will be very empowering. So if you want to join us, now is the moment of prayer.
Prepare now for the moment of prayer. If you would like us to make a prayer for your health and general well-being, send your name and prayer request to help@findinganswers.tv.
Our Lord and Father, first of all, I want to pray for those who are calling the helpline now for prayer, who have a strong desire to transform their life, like that lady that I prayed for now, who was sick, who is due to have an operation tomorrow, and she desperately needs your help. So I unite my faith with her and with all those who will call again right after this program, so that they may see changes. Father, I pray for this person, this viewer who is holding this glass of water with us and who desires to see a change, because maybe the emotional desires have taken over them, and it has even robbed them from who they are. So Lord, in the name of your Son, give them strength, Father. This is what we pray, and this is what we determine. And as this person drinks of this water, we declare your strength upon them in Jesus' name. You may drink of the water and be blessed now.
That's it. We believe you have been blessed. And if you believe, then indeed you are. This is it from us tonight. It was a pleasure being with you. Tomorrow, Thursday, Pastor Michael will be here with another edition of Finding Answers. We want to thank everybody for watching. God bless you. Have a great night. Bye-bye.